I appreciate you joining me. We're going to be looking in 1 Samuel chapter 1 today, when Hannah prayed to the Lord. Our hymn today is called When Hannah Pressed with Grief.
When Hannah pressed with grief, poured forth her soul in prayer, she quickly found relief and left her burden there. Like her in every trying case, let us approach the throne of grace. When she began to pray, her heart was pained and sad, but ere she went away, was comforted and glad. In trouble but a resting place have they who know the throne of grace. She was not filled with wine as Eli rashly thought, but with a faith divine and found the help she sought. Though men despise and call us faithful, let us find the throne of grace. As fogs obscure the light and take the morning air, but soon are put to flight if the bright sun appear. Thus Jesus will our sorrows chase by shining from the throne of grace.
1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of the mountains of Ephraim. His name was Elkanah. So Elkanah had two wives, verse 2. The name of one was Hannah. The name of the other was Peninnah. Peninnah, however you pronounce it, had children, but Hannah had no children. And so the one wife would always torment Hannah, mock her and things like that, but Elkanah loved Hannah, gave her a double portion. Verse 6 is where it talks about her rival provoking her. And so they would go up year to year to the house of the Lord. And, Elkanah is the one who says, "Why do you weep? Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" And, not sure that was the right thing to say. Anyway, verse 9, Hannah rose after they had finished eating and drinking in Shiloh. Now Eli the priest was sitting on the seat by the doorpost, at the doorpost of the tabernacle of the Lord. She was in bitterness of soul and prayed to the Lord and wept in anguish. Then she made a vow and said, "O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your maidservant and remember me, and not forget your maidservant, but will give your maidservant a male child, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and no razor shall come upon his head." And so what that's speaking about is the Nazirite vow. And of course, who we're speaking about is eventually Samuel, is who she's going to end up having. So I was thinking about why people have children, why people have babies. And sometimes people, they want to have a baby. And so they have a baby. Now the issue is that baby doesn't stay a baby. That baby becomes a toddler. That toddler becomes a teenager. That child grows up. And sometimes people, the sad truth is, they didn't want a teenager. They didn't want a toddler even. They didn't want the terrible twos. They wanted a baby. They just wanted a baby. Hannah, she asked for a child. But unlike so many people that just want to have a baby, Hannah's looking beyond, because she's looking at this child's purpose. She's saying what she's going to do is give the child to the Lord, and the Lord is going to minister. The child is going to serve the Lord. That's what she wants. Yes, she wants a child. Yes, she wants a child, and the Lord is going to bless her with more children after this. But see, some people, they just want a baby. They're not interested in having a servant of the Lord. They're not interested in training and bringing up, like the verse says, bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord. They're not interested in that. They just want a baby. And sometimes they have a baby, and that baby grows up without any purpose, at least any godly purpose. Well, Hannah has a purpose for this child. But also to think about our verse. Some people just want to have a child for themselves. And in a way, it's just selfishness. They just want a baby for them. Well, Hannah doesn't want this baby for her. Again, she's going to be giving him to the Lord. There's a song we had a few weeks ago now talking about all the women who basically, and it was Hannah. I'm trying to remember the song. If you follow along, you may remember it. It mentioned Hannah. It mentioned Moses' mother, Jochebed, and mentioned Mary. And there may have been one more. But the whole idea of you are having a child. You want that child to have purpose, and eventually you're going to have to let go of that child. See, that's the problem when people have children just for themselves. All of a sudden, their baby leaves home, and they have real trouble. They have real trouble. And sometimes maybe they don't let the baby leave home, if you know what I mean. And so, to look back at the account again, another reason that sometimes people have babies, and you've probably known people like this. You can tell there's some real drama in the family, in Elkanah's family. Now, Elkanah does love Hannah, but you see what I'm thinking of in the account of Jacob and Rachel and Leah. Remember, Jacob loved Rachel. And Leah, when God saw that Leah was unloved, but all of a sudden Leah turns up pregnant, and do you remember what she says? Now my husband will love me. Sometimes couples are having real marital problems, and they think having a child will magically solve all those marital problems. It usually doesn't work like that. But that's what some people do. They are having a child, and they're thinking that child, they're just treating that child as a tool, if you will. A tool to fix their marriage. Isn't that sad to think of that? They think that their child is just a tool to fix their marriage. It's not right. It's not wrong to think about the child's purpose, but the child's purpose should be to serve the Lord. And so here Hannah is praying, and Eli thinks that she's drunk. It's like, no, she's not drunk. She is, as she says, I'm a woman of sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor intoxicating drink. I've poured out my soul before the Lord. She's going to have a child. And then she shows back up to Elkanah, and Elkanah says, I'm the one. Do you remember I'm the woman who stood by you here praying to the Lord for this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition which I asked of him, and therefore I also have lent him to the Lord. As long as he lives, he shall be lent to the Lord. And so they worshiped the Lord there. Wonderful account as we get into Samuel. Appreciate you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our Daily Praise.